Hi, Kipsters. Today we're going to practice annotating one more time, and today we're going to practice with the story titled Indigenous Peoples of the Great Plains. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it first, and then when you read your second story, you're going to do it. Remember, follow along as I'm using the tools so that you know exactly what buttons to click on when it's your turn. I know the first thing that I need to do is I need to identify the genre and if it's a primary or a secondary source. I know that this is a nonfiction genre, and I can tell that this is a secondary source because it was written after the time it's talking about. Anything that's written during a specific period of time about that specific period is going to be a primary source. So this is definitely secondary. Let's go ahead and start reading. The Great Plains Cultural Region is a vast area of treeless grasslands. In the United States, the Great Plains stretch for about 2,000 miles from the Rockies to the Mississippi Valley, and from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico. The eastern part of this region has more water and softer soil than the western part. In the drier west, short, dense grasses provided perfect grazing for millions of bison. It's time for me to box my topic. I know I'll click Shapes and my square. And I know that this is about the Great Plains Cultural Region, so I'm going to go ahead and box that. Now, I know that for each section, I want to make sure I have a gist statement, so I'm going to click Comment, put it right to the side, and I know that this section is about the geography of the Great Plains region. Oops. All right, let's keep reading. Bison hunters. On the eastern Great Plains, various groups took up farming, only going on bison hunting trips for a few months each year. On the western Great Plains, Indigenous Americans followed bison herds much of the year. Time for me to box my topic. I'll click Shapes and the square, and I know that this is about bison hunting. In the spring and early summer, small groups lay in ambush where bison came. The hunters gripped hardwood bows reinforced with strips of bison tendons. Taking aim, each man let loose a wooden arrow tipped with a sharp stone and arrayed with feathers to help it fly straight. I know this is about how the hunters hunted the bison, so I'm going to go ahead and box hunters. In the fall, huge bison herds gathered, and plains peoples traveled in large bands. The men sometimes trapped the bison by circling the herd while on horseback. The men forced the bison closer together as they approached a cliff. Sometimes people set a grass fire or made loud noises to panic the bison until the animals stampeded over the cliff edge. Below, waiting hunters finished them off with spears or bows and arrows. I can tell this is about how the people hunted, and they did so in large bands, so I'm going to go ahead and box that as my topic. Now I'm going to tell the entire gist of the entire section, so I'm going to click Comment, and I think this is primarily about finding food, specifically hunting bison. So I'm going to say hunting bison as a food source. Remember, I'm just saying a general idea of what this is about. Next, using bison. Bison provided the main food for plains people. Women and young girls cut up the bison with bone knives, and extra meat was dried and kept for the winter. That's telling me that it's the main food. I know I'm going to click Shapes, click my square, and now I'm going to box my topic. Plains people used every part of the bison. Bison hides were turned into shields, waterproof containers, warm robes, and bedding. For clothing and bags, women softened the hides with scrapers and rubbed in bison brains and fat. Bison hair and sinew, the tough cords made from the animal's tendons, were twined into bowstrings and rope. Horns and hooves became spoons and bowls that were boiled down to make glue. Dried bison dung provided fuel for fires. Let's go ahead and box every part of the bison. All right, Kipsters. I'm going to stop it there. When I come back, I'll show you how to do the TAMs, so go ahead and click on that next video for extra assistance.